Welcome everybody. We are so grateful to Pitambaranandaji Maharajji for agreeing to speak to us. He earlier also he has obliged us so many times, and we have all learned so much. And by his profound discourses and enlightening discourses. So today he will speak on introduction to Gita. So without much ado, I would like to request Udarnaji Maharajji to kindly speak a few words, and then Pitambaranandaji Maharajji will start his presentation. Udarnaji Maharaj.
My respectful pranams, and while we are very grateful to Maharaj for kindly agreeing every time we request. We are really, really very grateful to you, Maharaj, and I'm sure everybody will get lot of knowledge and wisdom and to upgrade themselves. Without much ado, I will request Maharaj to please speak on the subject. Thank you very much, Maharaj, once again. Thank you, Maharaj.
ओम प्रपन्न पारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः. So the Philippines, Manila Ramakrishna Ashram has asked me to speak on introduction to the Bhagavad Gita. And when I tried to think about it, I thought I may not be able in 45 minutes to introduce Gita properly. So I will try my best, and if it is not completed, then I'll have to accept what Mr. Ganguly said that day, that I will have to continue this on the 16th of July. This very thing I will have to continue, provided I am not able to complete today. So now, introduction to the Gita, I am first thinking what Sri Ramakrishna told about the Gita. That will be the first introduction. And Thakur has told that if you repeat the word Gita 10 times, you get the message of the Gita. And by repeating Gita, 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 it becomes Tagi. And Tagi in Bengali is equivalent to Tyagi. So, Thakur says, the message of the Gita is that if you want perfection in life, you have to renounce. Now, what does Thakur want us to renounce? One is that I and mine. I and mine. These ideas have to be renounced first. Secondly, enjoyment of objects and enjoyment, greed for money. These things Thakur wants us to renounce. And the central message of the Gita itself, Thakur is telling, whatever work you do, whether it is for selfish purpose, unselfish purpose, or whatever work you are doing as sadhana for God realization, any work, the fruits you have to renounce. That is the central idea of the Gita. You will find this idea predominantly spoken in the 11th mantra of the 12th chapter of the Gita. Karma Phala Tyaga. So that is the central teaching of the Gita, and that Thakur wants us to follow. So that is the point number one. Thakur, as Sri Ramakrishna has told us, that if you want to achieve any spiritual progress in life, you have to renounce I and mine. You have to renounce the idea of enjoying the objects and greed for money, and you have to renounce the fruit of any work you do. Now let us see what Holy Mother Sarda Devi tells about the Gita. This is something not in the books, please. It's a direct revelation. And when we talk of Sri Krishna or Sarda Devi, I have told you perhaps previously, we should never attach any past tense idea to them. That Sri Krishna was like that or Mother Sri Krishna is like that. Mother is like that. So I'm talking of just maybe 15 years back. I'm talking of 15 years back. And I may have to tell the whole story. I was in Rishikesh and in a neighboring ashram, I was to start, or I had just started, class.
Maharajji, you got muted. You got muted. Please speak on the speaker.
Maharajji, can't listen to you.
Voice? No voice. Swamiji, we are not listening.
Your voice, yeah, your voice and your face is breaking. Maharajji, maybe internet is not proper. You had to start from Rishikesh. We could not listen anything else after that. We can't listen you. No.
Swamiji, we are not listening. We are unable to hear your voice.
After Rishikesh, we did not listen anything, Maharajji. Maybe.
I'll continue speaking.
Very
You
good.
please. Audibility gone, somebody is telling. Now what can I do for that?
After Rishikesh, we could not listen anything else.
From my
Only
side,
after that.
if someone has Maharaj's number, please call. No, I am understanding here. That, but what can I do from my side? I am not.
We can hear you
turn
now.
off microphone.
No, we are good.
Huh?
We
We
can hear you
can
now.
now hear you loud and clear.
Now you are audible.
Now you are
Okay.
audible.
Now
Maharajji.
they say I am audible.
Yeah, maybe internet problem.
Okay, I am audible now. Huh?
Absolutely, Maharajji.
So, shall I begin again or you have heard something?
From Rishikesh, you can start your visit, your time in the Rishikesh.
No, I told in the beginning what Sri Krishna. Please repeat the story of Rishikesh. All right. So, in Rishikesh, I was holding class on Prashnopanishad in a neighboring ashram. And there, sage Pippalaga is the Guru. And he is evidently an all-knower, Sarvagya. But Shankar, in his introduction, calls him Sarvagya Kalpa, like Sarvagya. So a doubt came to my mind, how is this? Now there was one amongst my audience, she had direct communion with Holy Mother Sarda Devi. So I asked her to ask Holy Mother about this problem. She told one wonderful thing about Bhagavad Gita in that context. I do not know anyone of us has thought of till now. She said, in Bhagavad Gita, you have Dhritarashtra Uvacha, Sanjay Uvacha, Duryodhana Uvacha, Arjuna Uvacha. Anywhere do you find Shri Krishna Uvacha? Anywhere? No. If it was Shri Krishna Uvacha, we would have called that Shri Krishna also Sarvagya Kalpa. When a person is coming in front of us, though he may be all-knower, but we do not call him all-knower. But have you marked that throughout the Gita, it is Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, nowhere Krishna Uvacha. How many of us have noted this? So Holy Mother is telling that in Gita there may be Dhritarashtra Vacha, Duryodhana Vacha, Sanjaya Vacha, Arjuna Vacha. But nowhere Shri Krishna Vacha, it is Shri Bhagavan Vacha. And therefore Gita has the authority. We follow the Gita's authority because it is Shri Bhagavan Vacha. So that is what Holy Mother told about Bhagavad Gita. Now I come to Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda has said, Gita is the divine commentary on all the Upanishads. There becomes a doubt when we find apparently some contradictory statements in different Upanishads. Apparently. How to understand all the Upanishads? So Bhagavan himself, the Swamiji's language, the person who has delivered Gita to us, himself takes a form and comments on the Upanishads. So Gita is the divine commentary on the Upanishads. Another point which Swami Vivekananda makes is, in his book on practical Vedanta and his lectures on practical Vedanta, Swami Vivekananda gives the example of the Gita, that Gita is the latest book on Vedanta, and there the scene is laid on the battlefield. What could be more active? What could be more practical? And he has challenged all of us. We say that we don't have time. Arjuna in his battlefield, was he not more active than us? And he had time to listen to Gita, and Bhagavan could tell him. And he says, typically the scene is laid on the battlefield. So, that is Swamiji has pointed out that Gita is the practical form of Vedanta. Now, I proceed to Swami Shivanandaji, Mahapurush Maharaj, Sri Ramakrishna's disciple. Now, once upon a time, there were classes on Bhagavad Gita for the monastics in Belur Math, long back. And two teachers, Swami Vivekananda's disciple Shuddhananda was teaching in Bengali medium. And Swami Jagadananda
Audio lost.
Maharajji, audio problem, we are not able to listen. Shuddhananda, till Shuddhananda we heard.
Audio issue.
Audio lost.
कहाँ है? Maharajji, you are muted. You are muted. Last we heard is Shuddhananda. You are talking about Shuddhananda.
Maharajji said he has not done anything. I think it's a bandwidth problem, maybe. Maybe Maharaj, if stop the video, it will be all right. He is checking, Maharajji is checking, but he has not done anything.
Huh?
Now your voice is coming.
Okay, shall I start now?
Okay, please start.
Yes.
No, what is happening I do not know. Some problem is in the communication.
Okay.
Okay. I was talking about Mahapuruji, Shivanandaji, and I told that two simultaneous classes on Gita in Bengali medium and English medium were conducted for the monastics in Belur. And at the end of that, an examination was taken, written. and only one question was asked. According to Gita, what is the means of God realization? This was the question. According to Gita, what is the means of God realization? Now, Shuddhananji, you know, was a tremendous karma yogi. So his teaching reflected that. So those who have learned from Shuddhananji, they wrote, Karma Yoga is the means to God realization according to Gita. And Jagdananji was in Vedanti. So his disciples, students wrote that Jnana is the means of God realization according to Gita. Now they find that disagreement between, and then Shuddhanji gave more marks to that who have written Karma Yoga. Jagdananji has given more marks to those who have written Jnana Yoga. So they found disagreement between the teachers. So both the teachers and all the students went to Mahapuruji and asked him straight this question. They did not tell about their conflict. They simply asked this question. Maharaj, what is the means of God realization according to Bhagavad Gita? And he straight away answered, spontaneously, Prapatti, Prapatti, Prapatti. You know what is Prapatti? What we call Sharanagati. What we call Sharanagati in Vaishnava literature, in Ramanuja's literature, it is called Prapatti. So Sharanagati, Sharanagati, Sharanagati. And then he said, there are 18 chapters of the Gita, and every chapter is called a yoga. So these 18 yogas all lead to Sharanagati. And the means of God realization is Sharanagati. Then he added, because you asked about the Gita, I have told this. If you ask me what is Sri Ramakrishna's teaching, I will say the same thing. That is Mahaprabhuji's complete answer. The means of God realization, according to Gita, according to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, is Sharanagati. So please remember these points. I am just quoting points for the introduction. Now I come to what Shankaracharya has talked about the Gita. In the introduction to the Gita by Shankaracharya, he says, the Vedic religion is contains of two types, the Pravrutti Marga and the Nivrutti Marga. Man, what is Pravrutti Marga? Man does something to achieve something, that is Pravrutti. And man withdraws from everything to realize God. So these two are taught in the Vedas, and what happens in course of time, desires grow, and so both the margas get polluted or dharma goes down and adharma increases. That time, the person who is responsible for the maintenance of the world, who is responsible? Bhagavan, Ishvara himself is responsible for the maintenance of the world. And so he comes and teaches mankind again. So that is one point Shankaracharya has made. That Bhagavan appears as if he is a man, as if he is doing good to people. And that is the Gita. And there he adds, there is one speciality about the Gita. We know Gita is the Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogda Gopala Nandana Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhakta Dugdam Gita Amritam Mahat. That Gita is the essence of all the Upanishads. But Shankar says there is one speciality in the Gita which is not in the Upanishads. And that is avatar, incarnation of God. That is not in the Upanishads. Gita says, Vasudevakyam Bhagavan Visheshena Abhivanjayan Gita Shastram. Vasudeva's son, man, human being, He is Bhagavan. And speciality of the Gita is to reveal Bhagavan in the form of avatar. Shankaracharya has told this. So, Shankaracharya is telling that Gita is the essence of all Upanishads, and yet the speciality of the Gita is the idea of an incarnation of God. Now, one more thing Shankaracharya has pointed out in the 18th chapter of the Gita. In introducing the 18th chapter, he says, Gita has been told and heard. Now, the whole Gita and the whole Vedas have to be summarized from practical point of view. From what practice we have to do, what sadhana we have to do. From this point of view, the entire Gita and entire Veda have to be summarized, and that is the 18th chapter of the Gita. So these are the salient features of Shankara's introduction to the Gita. Now, we come to the great saint of Maharashtra, Sri Gyaneshwar Maharaj. Gyaneshwar Maharaj has a wonderful insight on Gita. He says, people will ask me, is Gita for the common man? Is Gita for us? He says, yes, Gita is for everybody, but there is a provision. I will equate it with in Rishikesh, when they call bhandaras for sadhus, they give parchi, one password, pass card, and a person sits on the gate, kotwal, and he checks if you have pass card, then you go. So here Gyaneshwar says, remember, Arjuna is already sitting. If you think you are capable to sit with Arjuna, go. That is the condition. In his own style, Arjunache panti parisanaya yogya hoti ti krupa karuni santi avadhana dhyave. So his idea is that a very important point. And other ways also have to think of that. That in the end of every chapter we say Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvadi. Shri Krishna Bhagavan has not told Gita to Sanjay, Duryodhan, Yudhishthir, Bhima, Nakul, Sahadeva. He has told Gita to Arjun. So what is there in Arjun? So at this point, through Gyaneshwar Maharaj, we have to understand the character of Arjun. That is the best introduction to the Gita. Unless in our minds we climb, Arjun is a sadhak, remember. And sadhak's height is much more than our height, means spiritual height. And unless we place ourselves in Arjuna's place, we cannot understand or assimilate the Gita. That is what Gyaneshwar Maharaj says, Arjuna is already sitting. If you think you can sit in his line, then go. So, at this point, I have to tell certain stories from Mahabharata to tell you what was Arjuna. Now you know that Draupadi, under peculiar circumstances, was married to all the 5 brothers. To maintain her purity, they had made certain rules. And one of the rules was that if she is sitting with some brother privately in any room, any other brother should not enter that room. And they had prescribed a punishment for that. Oh, I went now. If anybody enters, then he will have to go out for 12 years for outside. He can come back only after 12 years. This was the rule set up by them. Now, It so happened that some poor people were there and they were taking their cows somewhere to somewhere. And some robbers came and stole those cows and were driving away those cows. So those people shouted, oh Arjuna, save our cows. Now Arjuna said, wait just a minute, I'll pick up my weapons and come. And he saw that the room where all the weapons are kept, there Yudhishthira is sitting with Draupadi. Now what he has to do? Oh, I could not enter, who have made promise. No. Arjuna entered that room, picked up his weapons, drove away the robbers, and gave the cows back to their owners. And then he comes back to Yudhishthira and says, now I will undergo the punishment. Compare with modern day politicians. Oh, for that, hundreds of promises they will do, and for that reason I have to do for nothing. Even Yudhishthira said, you did for a righteous purpose, maybe, but I have broken the rule, I will go for 12 years to forest. This is Arjuna number 1. That means we are not all going to war or drive away the robbers, but Arjuna's duty was that. He took it as his duty, righteous duty. And so, the lesson of the Gita is that unless we are steadfast in our respective duties, we cannot understand Gita. So, from Arjuna's this story, we learn one thing. Now, another bigger one. He went to Swarga. His father was Indra. So Indra called him for he wanted to learn more divine weapons. And there, because of his artistic mind, there was an Apsara, Urvashi, in Swarga, a divine damsel. And Arjuna learned dancing from her. Now, when it was time for him to return, Urvashi says, no, Urvashi is so much enchanted with Arjuna. And she says, please marry me and take me to your place. Now this very Urvashi had lived with Arjuna's ancestor, Pururava. So Arjuna tells, it is impossible. I take you as my grandmother, great-grandmother. And secondly, I am your disciple, you are my guru. So I cannot imagine that I will marry you. Urvashi becomes very angry. She says, we are always virgins. He said, you may be like that, but I cannot. She takes it as insult to her womanhood. And she says, I curse you that you will become impotent. Hijda we call him, Napunsak. Transgender, whatever you call it. Then Indra had to intervene and said, it will be for 1 year only. And it will help you in your life. Now, this is another Arjuna. He has married. Arjuna has many similarities with us mortals. He is not free from Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mama, Datsa. He has married several wives, you know. But he has his moral standards. And he sticks to his moral standards. Even not afraid of the curse. He may undergo the curse, but he will not give up his moral standards. That is Arjuna's number 2. Now what happened? Yudhishthira was invited for a game of dice by Duryodhana. And Yudhishthira was interested in dice, otherwise he could have said no. But there was a rule among Kshatriyas that if somebody invites you for war or dice, you will have to go. provided you are interested in dice. So Yudhishthira had to go. And a peculiar thing was there that in place of Duryodhan, his maternal uncle Shakuni will play in his place. That is not in the normal dice rules. But Yudhishthira agreed. And that fellow Shakuni had some special dice which used to fall according to his will. And so he cheated, and all the wealth was lost. Then in that morning, somebody asked me, how did he do this with Draupadi? And he became intoxicated with that dice, and he waged his brothers, himself, and Draupadi also. And then we know a tremendous calamity was to fall upon Draupadi, and it was only Bhagwan who saved her. So Gandhari intervened and said, cancel all the results of these dice. Make them free. Then Duryodhan thought, it is a terrible calamity. We planned all this. So Duryodhan asked his father, please allow us one more game of dice. And Dhritarashtra was infatuated with Duryodhan. He said, okay. And that wage was that dice was, if anybody loses, he will have to go to forest for 12 years and 1 year live incognito after that. And if they are found during that period of incognito, then they will have to undergo forest life for another 12 years. That was the wage. And Yudhishthira agreed. And the dice was loaded in favor of Shakuni. So that also they lost, and they went to forest for 12 years. Now, after that 12 years, they decided to go to another king, Virat, for living incognito, because it was far away from Duryodhana's place. So they took different parts. Yudhishthir became a dice player and a member of his Sabha, Virat Raja. Bhima became the cook, head cook. Arjuna became Bruhannala, the transgender fellow, and became dance teacher to king's son Uttara. Bhima, Nakul and Sahadev were expert in handling animals. So one fellow became in charge of cows, one fellow became in charge of horses, and Draupadi became handmaid to the Queen Sudeshna. And she declared that I have 5 Gandharva husbands, please don't meddle with me. But it so happened that king's commander-in-chief, the queen's brother, Kichak, he was a Superman, and his eyes fell on Draupadi. And so I am telling a long story to understand Arjuna. So he told his sister, send Draupadi to me. She could not avoid. Then Draupadi went to Bhima secretly and told him such a calamity has arisen. Bhima said, apparently you agree. Tell him, okay. And ask him to come to the dance room in the midnight. And you remain in your own place, you don't go there. But promise him like that. And Bhima himself went, covered himself with a sheet and was as if sleeping in that dance. So Kichaka was infatuated, he came there. And as you handled Bhima, he came out and killed Kichak. Kichak had 100 brothers, Anu Kichak. And when they intervened, Bhima killed all of them. Now this news spread throughout India. And Duryodhana understood that we have caught them. Nobody else but Bhima could have killed Kisha. Nobody else. So we have caught them during their incognito period. So how to expose them now? Duryodhana was a scheming person. So north of Virata's kingdom, the neighbor king had some enmity towards Virat. So Duryodhana asked him to attack Virat from the north. Now his Senapati is lost. So Virat himself had to take his Sena and go to fight with that opposing force. At this time, all the Kauravas, including Bhishma, Drona, Karna, went to steal the cows from the south. Again the cows have come. And then the guards shouted, they are stealing the cows, they are taking away. Now in the whole palace, only one male member was left, King's son Uttar. So the ladies praised Uttar, now it is your duty. Now he wanted to avoid. So he said, I do not have any charioteer. All the charioteers have gone with the king. What can I do? Draupadi suggested this dance teacher Burandala has done the charioteership sometime. You take it. So remember, Arjuna as the Burandala charioteer and Uttara the fighter. They went. And when Uttara saw the whole force of Kaurava, he became afraid, jumped down and started running back. This Brihannala caught it. Said, you become the charioteer, I shall see. I will not allow the cows to be stolen. And they had kept all their weapons and conch shells outside Virata's kingdom, hidden under a special tree, Shami tree. Arjuna went there, took out his weapons, took out the special conch shell and blowed it. That means it declared Arjuna is coming to fight. And reaching there, he played upon his divine weapons and put everybody, he defeated everybody, and Bhishma, Drona, Karna and Duryodhana and all that, they had to go back, leaving the cows behind. Now, Duryodhana was happy that we have exposed Arjuna during the incognito period. Arjuna did not know. He was ready for that, going 12 years again to the forest. Bhishma intervened. He said, according to my calculations, 13 years are over. So, this is not applicable to the Pandavas at all. Arjuna did not know that. This is Arjuna. He said, I will not allow the cows to be stolen, and I am at present a refugee under Virat. So how can I allow anybody to harm Virat? And he is single, and some reference about this will come during that war also. So that I reserve now. So this is Arjuna. So through 2-3 stories, I have told who is Arjuna, absolutely unwavering for his duties, absolutely not going against his own moral standards. This is Arjuna. And to such Arjuna, Bhagavan has told the Gita. Now one more point, and that is the main point. Arjuna is a very good man. Compared to Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana. Dhritarashtra is asking, oh Sanjay, what my sons and Pandu's sons have done there? Going to the Kurukshetra, which is a religious place, that means he had some hope that going there, Yudhishthir may say, oh, we are religious people, we will not fight. And Duryodhana again and again says, for my sake, all these have come, giving up their life and property. Arjuna says, my people, my people, my people. Even amongst Kauravas and amongst the Pandavas' army, Arjuna is seeing his people, his maternal uncles, his grandfathers, his uncles, his brothers-in-law. That means Kauravas' brothers-in-law, Kauravas' fathers, Kauravas' grandfathers, everybody is his, mine, mine, mine. This, remember, is the weakness of a good person. Bad person does not feel that. I have shown, Dhritarashtra says, my sons and Pandus. And Duryodhana says, for my sake, for my sake. And Arjuna became perplexed. Now here one more point I want to add. It is this fellow, Blackie. Blackie, you understand? Krishna Bhagavan. This fellow Blackie has awakened that attachment in Arjuna. Awakened himself. Arjuna says in the beginning, take my chariot in the middle of two armies. Let me see who have come to support this wicked-minded Duryodhana and with whom I have to personally fight. Now Krishna is the charioteer and his business is, yes sir. So he takes the chariot in the center. But instead of telling, see with whom you have to fight and who have come, he says, see all these Kurus. See all these Kurus. Now you have to understand this point. Kuru was a king, ancestor to both Pandavas and Kauravas. And because he was a very righteous king, so his progeny are called Kauravas. Even Pandavas are Kauravas. But Pandava's father, Pandu, was a heroic person, sacrificing person, heroic person. So they became known as Pandavas. Well, Dhritarashtra had no personality. Though Arjuna called them again and again Dhartarashtra, Dhartarashtra. But they are still called Kauravas. And Krishna points out the common ancestry by telling, your call ends in, oh, I have not even come to half.
Maharajji, one submission
Anyway,
here.
we shall continue.
Yes, so
We shall
on
continue
16th
sometime
July,
in this.
Maharajji, one submission, on 16th July, you can speak
We
for
can
2 hours.
continue this.
You can speak for 2 hours.
Okay.
Now you can conclude in another 2 or 3
No,
minutes.
no. Question and answer, everything we shall postpone for the next time. Anyway, I will speak by my own views. This point let me clear out. So, why so? Because suppose during war this attachment would have come, then what would happen? So Krishna is confident, this is Gita. Let his attachment come out and I shall cure him before he fights. For that he has roused this. Tell him, see all the Kurus. Now, about Arjuna, one more point I left. Both Duryodhana and Arjuna went to Shri Krishna with a common relative. And the rule in those days was, whoever approaches you have to support him. Because who is to tell whose side is righteous? War will decide. So Duryodhana, out of his arrogance, Krishna was lying down, as if sleeping. Duryodhana sat near his head. Immediately afterwards, or little time afterwards, Arjuna entered and he sat at Bhagavan's feet. So when Krishna opened his eyes, he saw Arjuna first and said, Arjuna, why you have come? Duryodhana says, I have come. and both have come for seeking your support. Krishna says, I have decided not to fight. I will not hold weapon in my hand. But I have one Akshwini, that is unit of military, which included cavalry and all that. I have one Akshwini, Narayani Sena, undefeated up till now. So I made my two parts, myself without a weapon and Arjuna, because I saw you first choice is yours. Arjuna said, I want you, Lord. Arjuna had another point. He had a sattvic ego. He had an ego of the fighter. He says, to kill all the wicked people is my work. I do not want your Sena. But I want you. Arjuna knew Krishna's divinity. I want you. So, that is another point of Arjuna. Duryodhana was happy. What to do with this fellow if he is not fighting? So, that is another point of Arjuna. Now, okay. Now, so, Nirmal, shall we end?
Maharajji, if you can kindly conclude, and we'll have 2 hour session on July 16 Sunday.
You see, now, important point, I have not yet touched Gita at all. I have done the external introduction to the Gita. Now, at the end of each chapter of the Gita, there is a what we call colophon, the ending. About that I shall talk in the next. And then a little summary of the names of the chapters. These two are main points for introducing the Gita. That I shall take on 16th of July. Okay? So I end here. Om Prapanna Parijataya Totrave Yatra Ekapane Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamrtadve Namaha Om Shanti 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 Hare Om Tatsat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Thank you so much, Maharajji, for such insightful and profound lecture, and we are eagerly waiting for your 2 hour session on 16th July at the same time. Now I would like to request Dr. Ranjana Bhattacharya from New Delhi to sing the song. Please complete your song in 2.5 minutes so that we are well within time. Thank you.
My pranams to Pitambaranandaji Maharaj, Udaranandaji Maharaj, Nirmal Babu and all devotees assembled here. Today I will sing a Tagore song, which means that I do not pray that you protect me from all odds in life. Lord, give me the courage and strength to face them. বিপদে মোরে রক্ষা করো এ নহে মোর প্রার্থনা বিপদে আমি না যেন করি ভয় দুঃখ তাপে ব্যতীত চিত্তে নাই বা দিলে সান্ত্বনা দুঃখে যেন করিতে পারি জয় বিপদে মোরে রক্ষা করো এ নহে মোর প্রার্থনা বিপদে আমি না যেন করি ভয় সহায় মোর না যদি ছুটে নিজের না যেন ছুটে সহায় মোর না যদি ছুটে নিজের না যেন ছুটে সংসারেতে ঘটিল ক্ষতি লোভিল শুধু বঞ্চনা নিজের মনে না যেন মানি হয় বিপদে মোরে প্রার্থনা বিপদে আমি না যেন করি ভয়। আমারে তুমি করিবে ত্রাণ, এই নহে মোর প্রার্থনা। তুলিতে পারি শপথি যেন রয়, আমার ভার লাগো করি নাই বাদিলে সান্ত্বনা। বুঝিতে পারি এখনই যেন হয়, নম্র শিরে সুখের দিনে তোমার মুখ লইব চিনে। নম্র শিরে সুখের দিনে তোমার মুখ লইব চিনে। দুঃখের রাতে নিখিল ধরা, সেদিন করে বঞ্চনা। তোমারে যেন না করি সংশয়, বিপদে মোরে রক্ষা করো, এই নহে মোর প্রার্থনা। বিপদে আমি না যেন করি ভয়।
Thank you very much, Dr. Bhattacharya, for the beautiful devotional song. Hiranya, please give vote of thanks.
Maharaj, thank you very much. My video is not working, but pranam from all of us, and we are very keenly waiting for your lecture on 16th July. It was so interesting that we are all expecting to hear from you on 16th July. Come again, Maharaj.
The real introduction I will take on 16th. Today I did the external introduction.